प्रस्तुत है वेव्स कुलगीत।
पुराणों स्मृति ग्रंथों में निहित अमूल्य सार हम जाने। तत्व ज्ञान ही बोध हमारा, वेदाध्ययन है लक्ष्य हमारा। दशकों से है वेव्स दे रहा अवसर चर्चा का, चिंतन का।
दशकों से है वेव्स दे रहा अवसर चर्चा का, चिंतन का।
एक मंच पर सबको लाना ध्येय रहा हर सम्मेलन का। वैश्विक हित कर्तव्य हमारा, अध्ययन है लक्ष्य हमारा।
हितं भरा प्रज्ञा से युतं, हितं भरा प्रज्ञा से युतं। भ्रमजालों से दूर बचे हम,
स्वस्थि भाव पूरित जीवन हो। अनृत मार्ग से दूर रहे हम, चिदानंद गंतव्य हमारा। वेदाध्ययन है लक्ष्य हमारा।
वेव्स है माध्यम जिसका न्यारा।
वेदाध्ययन है, वेदाध्ययन है, वेदाध्ययन है लक्ष्य हमारा।
Namaste. A very warm welcome to everyone in today's Waves webinar talk number 20. And we just heard our Waves Kulgeet. That's a Waves journey over the years, and which is a musical composition of celebration, endless dedication, and synergy of purpose. Waves webinar series is a joint initiative by the World Association for Vedic Studies USA, also known as Waves International, along with wider Association for Vedic Studies, also known as Waves India. Waves International and Waves India are multidisciplinary academic organizations renowned for serving as a global platform for interdisciplinary research, dialogue, and dissemination of Indian knowledge systems, especially the Vedas, Ayurveda, and the allied sciences. Waves International has hosted till now 16 international biennial conferences in the USA and abroad, whereas Waves India is currently organizing its 29th annual conference, which will be held in this year only in the December month in New Delhi. And this Waves webinar series actually explores Vedic knowledge through the various scholars and researchers and their thought-provoking writings. On that note, on behalf of Waves, both Waves, I, Dr. Aparna Dheer, Secretary Waves India and Associate Board Member Waves International, welcome everyone whosoever attending this program, along with our eminent guest of today's program. And now, today's program is a very special as it will feature a book release ceremony and a talk. Before we proceed, I'd like to invite Dr. Vikas Sharma, Assistant Professor, Allahabad University and Treasurer, Waves Youth Wing, that is Tarun Tarang, for the ceremonial release of the book.
Thank you. Respected scholars and friends, Namaste. Today we gather to celebrate not just a book, but a vision, a research, and a pursuit of truth. This work is the fruit of years of dedication and reflection, and it brings forward a subject that is both highly relevant today and a guide for the future. With great joy, let us now unveil the book AI and Consciousness in Organizations and Society, authored by Professor Anil Maheshwari, MIU, USA. Now I request to Dr. Aparna Dheer, kindly share the book release video. Dr. Aparna ji, over to you.
हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापिहितं मुखं तत्त्वं पूषन्न पावृणु सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये.
We congratulate Dr. Anil Maheshwari ji for this book, and we are delighted to have him here among with us. And he's the renowned speaker of today and also the honorable author of this book. So before, let me give you a brief introduction about him. And he's a professor of management at MIU, that is Maharishi International University, based in Fairfield, USA. He's a member of Marquis, who is who in America, and he's recognized by them as a top educator. He has authored 20 books, 50 papers, and 60 conference presentations, including the 2 volumes on consciousness-based leadership and management that was released in 2023. He earned a BTech from IIT Delhi, an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, and a PhD in management from Case Western Reserve University, and an MA in reading Vedic literature from MIU. He is also a long-term practitioner of transcendental meditation and TM Siddhi techniques. With this very brief introduction about him, I like to invite him for introducing his book to the audience. We welcome you, Dr. Maheshwari ji.
Thank you very much. Really an honor to be with you all. Thank you all for joining this morning or evening. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about the book, the way it's kind of organized, and then we'll talk about the topic a little bit later. So let me read just a couple of paragraphs from the draft of the book. Okay, it's still in the process of, coming out in the print version in the next couple of weeks. But let me just share some couple of paragraphs. Okay, let me see. Yeah. So let me share from the paragraph, and then maybe I'll share how the book came to be. So here is from very first chapter, almost page 2 of the book. We'll see. However capable AI becomes, it will never become conscious. This is kind of my overall take. AI can simulate aspects of human cognition, even it remains fundamentally different from human consciousness. While generative AI can describe itself, create text, graphics, videos, and can even ask intelligent questions, it is yet to reach a level of general intelligence where it may mimic overall human thinking. It will not know what it means to be. And that, to me, that's a big distinction, to be versus think and feel and do and have and all that stuff, right? It's all about being. This book explores how higher consciousness can assert its primacy in managing AI while reflexively leveraging AI to deepen human consciousness itself. So both can help each other. That's my overall take. We discuss this interplay from various angles. In this opening chapter, I'll discuss it in the context of decision making, education, and leadership. And we examine AI's role through a consciousness based approach that respects the distinctiveness of human experience and seeks to integrate integrated with knowledge into management practice. And I lean a bit on Dr. Cox's work and my own publication on this interplay of AI and consciousness. And I can go on, but I think these things I can talk about a little bit later. Just shared a little bit paragraph which gives my overall take that both can help each other. And this book came about because 2 years ago, 2 summers ago, I organized a research colloquium on the same topic, interplay of AI and society, within the Academy of Management in the division called Management, Spirituality, and Religion. It was a 3-day event with about 15 sessions and a lot of speakers coming talking about this thing from various angles, how it impacts creativity, how it impacts sustainability, how it impacts various aspects of life, strategy, and all that stuff. And we had a mix of variety of speakers. And then later we thought, okay, from some of the publications, we can publish a book, and Palgrave agreed. So it's taken almost 2 years. It should take much less. But the challenge is that AI keeps moving so much faster. And so at that point, I said, okay, let's just get the book out because it'll never be, up to date. No matter what we present, it's just changing so fast, and we'll get a flavor of that in the presentation. Nonetheless, the idea is to just seed the discussion on AI and consciousness because you will see both are extremely important, both extremely large. I call them, this is infinity, that's infinity. How do two infinities play? Because AI is kind of getting very large. So this book is an academic book. There are about 13 papers, 13 papers. Half of them are by me, and then some from collaborators who's somebody's talking about, various aspects. There's about creativity, and some people are helping talk about managing sustainability with a case study on plastics, how plastics that were great and now become microplastic, which are harmful. So how do you sort of evolve to include the totality of effects of technology, not just AI, but before that, we've seen examples from plastics, also in creativity and various other places. So how it impacts education, the AI, how it will impact consciousness-based education, which is the kind of realm of our place. So I think it'll be interesting, and the goal is not to provide, we use the AI as of date, like when we wrote it was about generative AI, now it's agentic AI, now it's like a lot more other different aspects. So even in my talk today, I will talk about the fundamentals of AI and how it impacts fundamentals of consciousness, because specifics will keep growing. And so this book is just a little tiny offering in this direction. So thank you very much for Shashiji for inviting me to present on this book, and then allowing me to share a little bit about the book itself before we get into the topic. Thank you very much, Parna.
Sure, sir. As you said that this, we also believe that this book really seems interesting to the audience because you have discussed it has 13 papers and all related to AI. So, and of course, when we heard, we are going to hear your this presentation today. So many of the aspects we may got to know. So now it's nothing. I mean, we don't want to waste much time now, and let's have today's talk. And the title of today's talk is Vedic Chetna in the Age of Artificial Intelligence. So a brief description about the today's topic is artificial intelligence is the culmination of the totality of human reality and knowledge in a highly functional, multi-modal, accessible form. And the Vedic Chetna is the timeless totality of universal reality in its unbounded, unmanifest potential, accessible through natural practices. The two are complementary, though there is a disagreement on the primacy of one over the other. This talk will explore the interplay between the two as it impacts society, organizations, and individuals. The session will also feature, and we have already featured the academic volume of this theme, and now, and he was developing this theme in past 2 years, as he just mentioned. So we welcome again Dr. Anil Maheshwari ji for his talk, and also he's also sharing screen. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is such a joy. This is the first time I'm presenting this book in its totality, and it's a kind of a um, tribute to Shashiji, who's always at the cutting edge. So she welcomes AI, and she said, "Why not?" And I think there is a series of 3 such talks, myself and a couple other speakers going every month to bring this sort of new, to tame our understanding and increase our understanding of this whole world of AI in this overall idea of consciousness. So Vedic Chetna, Chetna is means consciousness. So I'm just using a Vedic word Chetna, and the age of AI meaning, we are rapidly seeing enormous developments. We're seeing enormous rapid developments in the development and power of AI. And I'll bring. So my goal is to just give you a little bit of understanding of my view of consciousness. Then I'll see a little bit of view of the AI for those who don't know much, just to give them high level. Because I have a publications in AI and data analytics is my area, and I'll share a little bit of my own background, so that just to give it to give you a flavor of where I'm coming from when I discuss this, because AI is huge, consciousness is huge. Nobody knows it all. To know consciousness, that it's like takes a rishi, and to know AI, you have to be really, really focused. There are probably just a couple of thousand people in the world who truly understand AI from the bottom up, and I'm not one of them. But I've been very interested for 40 years in that, so I'm very much kind of reasonably immersed in this thing. So let's proceed, and let's begin first with our biggest mission. Why do we do everything? Is to create world peace. At least I to focus on that. So let's do a Shanti mantra, peace mantra. If you can chat along with me, sing along. And the meaning is at the bottom. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti. Which means may all be happy, may all be free from illness, may all see only auspicious, may no one suffer, and that creates peace. And then the other mantra is what I call the wholeness mantra, which is to say that whole alone satisfies and wholeness is blissful. So Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachite Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamev Vishishite. Om Shanti Shanti. In the outer world is fullness, inner world is also fullness. From wholeness comes wholeness, and taking wholeness out of wholeness, what remains is also wholeness. So you don't feel any lesser when wholeness has come out of it. May there be peace in the world. So this is our homage to our ancient wisdom, that we focus on the well-being of all, and we do it from wholeness. Wholeness alone satisfies. Okay, this is a little bit of my background. I just wanted to share that this on the left is the book that we just released. Thank you very much, Waves. And on the right is an organization I've just created at one of the universities in India. It's called Vishwa Shanti Mandir, World Peace Temple, or you can World Peace House in Vanasali Vidyapith. And the bottom it says, Tatsanidavaya Tyagaha. This is a formula from Yoga Sutras, which says where that oneness is established, where means hostilities are already vanished. So in other words, to create peace, all you want is to create that sense of oneness, in which case there is no hostility. And I have a book on data analytics, which is #1 in the world, ranked by Coursera, and it's published by McGraw-Hill here. And then I've been also honored by certain organizations, and a executive leader of the management, spirituality, and religion community within the Academy of Management, which is the largest gathering of professors in management. So just a little bit about me. I think it was read aloud a little bit. Research interest is very much conscious leadership and AI together. And as I said, I've done a little bit of communicating, and this is just a joy to talk about consciousness. And also the part that didn't come out is of 20 years of IT industry experience and leadership roles, including 9 years at IBM in Austin, Texas. So kind of like both of this stuff. And the last thing is my life passion is really Vishwa Shanti, which means world peace. Okay, thank you very much. So So the pursuit of peace is what sort of motivates me, pursuit of world peace, not just peace for myself. But the world peace comes from being peaceful yourself. That's my basic thing. So we went to Mount Kailash, and this was from this is Mount Kailash in the background, and this is my wife also with the Mount Kailash in the back here. This is Lake Mansarovar, and this is me doing the circumambulating walking around the mountain. It was such a joy, and you can read more about my blog post on that. It's very blissful. Some people are just talking about it. They've just actually, some have gone to Mount Kailash after reading this blog post. So hopefully you'll read that, anilma.com. Anyway, so talk today. I wanted to simplify. I'll call it ABC of intelligence. So if you remember nothing about what we talk about, just say it's ABC of intelligence. First of all, intelligence is a big word, and translating to buddhimata is probably not the right thing, but this is the best we in Hindi can do to intelligence. Intelligence is a very Western concept, and it just originated in a scientific way just about 150 years ago, when it's called general intelligence. But anyway, we'll say what is the A and the B and the C of intelligence. So A is what we're calling artificial intelligence. Some call it amplified intelligence or augmented intelligence, whatever. But the idea is that we are abstracting intelligence from human knowledge. So it's an abstraction of human knowledge available in multimodal, meaning like various modalities, text, video, whatever, and in functional form, you can actually use and do something with it. B, first let me go to C. Creative intelligence is what Mahari's name for consciousness, also creative intelligence, the intelligence within. So that is your Vedic Chetna. And it's a timeless, unbounded totality. It's a totality of awareness of universal reality in its unmanifest potential. The Chetna is all within, not in the form that eyes can see. And the middle, that says biological intelligence or human intelligence. So it mediates both, right? Creative intelligence obviously animates us, and we create the artificial intelligence. So here is my way of sort of connecting the three. If you see that these are three, A, I, B, I, C, I, what do you think is the relationship? First relationship is the creative intelligence animates us as a biological intelligence, because that whole flow of pure consciousness in us creates the capability to act. And it's a business, the human biological intelligence that works together in a coordinated manner to create artificial intelligence. But I would say the flip side is the AI can actually augment the human intelligence, amplify human intelligence. That's why it's of interest, right? Not just creating artificial intelligence for its own sake, but so that it can make us do better. So if you remember this picture, ABC, artificial intelligence. So it's like creative intelligence creates a human intelligence, which helps create artificial intelligence, CBA, and then A has a reflexive role with BI. So as we get better human intelligence, we can get smarter AI intelligence. And this loop is working so fast that AI is getting more than 10x faster or better every year. And that's why it's really, really important to discuss this topic, even if we can't fully comprehend what it is. Okay. So with that, it's ABCs of intelligence. That's what we'll talk about. So what is the thing? So let's say the bigger challenges that we have: social polycrisis, and that's what motivates us to really think of looking at all possible tools. The world is facing wickedly complex global problems: climate change, social inequality, bio extinction, and many others. And the key element is that Einstein, who sort of created all these phenomenal papers, at very young age, just from thought experiments, he said grand problems cannot be solved from the same level of consciousness from which they arose. Right? If you think from a certain identity or a certain way of thinking, what that led to the problems, you really have to go from higher consciousness, bigger view. And the key problem, as Maharishi would say, is pragyaprad, which is mistake of the intellect, which is that we identify with the objects that we have. We say, I'm a man, a professor, this and that and that. But actually, what are we? We are transcendence. Again, this transcendent word in Hindi, Shreshtata is, I'm not sure it's a word that, but I just want to use the Hindi word to be able to explain. Pragya Prad totally resonates with me. Shreshtata is the more excellence, not transcendence. But anyway, the idea of transcending is to go beyond objects, go into the finer level of consciousness beyond sort of just being locked into certain physical things. So the example of pragya prad can be seen in this one. Let's say is a complicated system that produces electricity. And so apologies to those who may have seen in my previous presentations, but to me this is foundational to helping understand how we may have the pragya prad or mistake of our intellect in this sort of process where electricity is fed into the light here, which I'm using to be able to be seen, and you are using it too. Who am I in this? Am I the bulb? Am I this physical body who sort of emanates all this knowledge and converses? Or am I actually the light? Body is irrelevant, just but the knowledge that comes to me. Or both. Or is it the electricity? It is the inner sort of consciousness that makes my body engaged to wake up, sit front, and say knowledgeable things. Or is it everything, all of these? Or is it just the wires and the magnets? I'm connected to some totality from which sort of ideas come to me. I am embedded in a system like waves or my university or the world or academy management, etc. And so everything sort of produces knowledge for me. Am I all of this or just any of this? Or actually I'm more subtle than that. Am I just the laws of electromagnetism? I'm just manifestation of laws of electromagnetism that everything comes together. Or in fact, if I'm manifesting myself, is it not just the laws of electromagnetism, or it's all the laws of nature, including the laws of gravity or cosmic laws, etc. So where do you identify in this? Or am I all of the above? So to me, the answer is that whatever answer you choose, you're right. It is your consciousness makes that answer. If you say, I'm this person, I've given the example of bricklayers, the bricklayers working in a place and say, what are you doing? The four bricklayers you ask, what are you doing? One says, oh, I'm just earning a livelihood. I'm laying bricks and I'm earning a livelihood. And they said, no, I'm building a wall, nice structure. Somebody said, no, I'm building a cathedral. And the fourth one said, no, I'm building world peace. Even though I'm doing stone cutting or bricklaying, but I'm actually contributing to world peace. So, it's your consciousness, what you're doing, why you're doing it. So this is the important, as you rise in consciousness, you begin to see a larger picture. And what do rishis say about who am I? So I will just cite two, Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi always ask the question, who am I? Who am I? And people used to ask, well, what is the answer to it, Maharshi? And he will say, well, the purpose of the question is actually not to get the answer. It is to dissolve the question. The ego, the identity from which you're asking the question, dissolve that. And then you really realize what. And of course, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi would say, it's pure joy, pure anand, satchit anand. We have total knowledge, total power, all within us. So we really are that. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. We are all of that, but we don't necessarily believe that. We don't experience that. So if you can experience that, then it's great. So let's say we kind of exist at multiple levels, but if you just take two levels, absolute consciousness and relative consciousness, at some level we are just that. But then, of course, at this action level, we are separate human beings with different markers. So we exist at both levels, and this is just both is sort of two extremes, but you can say we can exist at multiple levels. Again, it's all our way of thinking or being that just impacts us. So if you look at our levels of awareness or consciousness, there are the three basic psychologically accepted levels of consciousness: sleep state, dream state, and waking state. If you map into 2x2 matrix, in the sleep state, I'm not aware of myself, I'm not aware of any content. There's deep sleep, like I'm dead, as if, deep sleep. In dream state, swapna. In the sleep state is called sushupti. And the dream state is like no awareness of myself, but a lot more is going on. A lot of things are going in my head. It's all illusions, But in waking state, like right now, Jagrati, I'm aware of myself. I am Anil Maheshwari. I'm a professor. I'm a presenter here. But I'm also aware of what I'm talking about. I'm sort of aware of what I'm saying. But if we go to the next level, and if you find the fourth state of consciousness, which is the opposite is true, I'm only aware of myself and not aware of any of the perceptions outside, because the perceptions outside tend to color, overcome my awareness of myself. And then, of course, you can, as you meditate, when, whatever way you develop your consciousness, it goes to higher consciousness, which is called the Turyatit, and then where not only am I aware of the world, but I'm constantly aware of my own unboundedness in the day-to-day living, and it keeps getting refined till we read what we call Brahmi Chetna, in which really there is no difference between me and outside. Called unity consciousness, the Brahmi Chetna. It's like consciousness where it's Brahma, I'm the creator, I'm the wholeness. Shaivik Chetna, like I'm Shiva. So this is a layer where everything outside is just as I see is what there is. Like I can almost create effortlessly when we in Brahmi Chetna. And fortunately, on our campus, there are a lot of people who live in Brahmi Chetna because they've been meditating for 40 years, very, very highly trained people. So it's such a joy to see that such a state is achievable in this life while living an ordinary sort of also life. Anyway, that's my thing about the states of consciousness. But then this is my creation, V theory of transcendence, again building off of Maharshi's knowledge. And we can stand for Vedic theory, victory, we as all of us, or it's after I listened to the presentation on U theory from MIT, and I said, wow, why not? We can do better. So the idea is that we, on a normal basis, live a sensory experience, surface reality experience. Life goes up, life goes down, things are good, things are bad. But if somehow, through some technique, we can, remember I showed you 2 levels from the relative to the absolute. If we can transcend to the absolute, go inwards, we call it inward stroke, then we reach sort of pure consciousness, pure awareness, just pure awareness of yourself, pure order, pure clarity. And it's what in our research has shown that it's a pure unified field. It's a unified quantum field of all the laws of nature. Everything is together. Because I'm impacted by your body is impacted by all the laws of nature. You can't say, oh, physics applies, but quantum doesn't apply, or electromagnetism doesn't apply. All the laws of nature are actually together. We just study them separately. But if we transcend and stay there, what happens is as we transcend, our thoughts begin to vanish. The discrete thoughts, which are in Buddhism sometimes called mental objects, they begin to vanish, and we can become one with pure awareness. And then we stay there for a certain period of time, depending on how deep your program is, and then we return back to relative. It's called outward stroke. And I say that if you went in a little bit tired, a little bit confused, a little bit exhausted, you come back a little bit more clear, more energized, more creative thing. And in fact, there are so many ways people are interpreting this that if sometimes, anyway, I'll come to that later. So this is the junction point somehow where sort of the external immediately sort of leads to the transcendence. There are people who will take you a little bit down, sort of level to the awareness of the body, etc., but you're still aware of something in the relative world. Here, you're not aware of anything. The relative world is completely in the unbounded. This I call the junction point. Now, in Hindi, there is a word called man, which sort of can be mind, intellect, feelings, everything is just man. Man is chanchal, means man goes up and down. Man is happy, man is not so happy, etc. But this thing is Atman. Is the sound of infinity. When man becomes Atman, means mind becomes soul, or pure consciousness. So it's like soul is not something out there. It's right here and now. You just settle down, yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. You settle down the vrittis or the tendencies or the sort of disturbance of the mind, and you become the soul. There you go. Voila. So it's very easy to attainable. First, you have to know about it, and you, of course, know the right way to do it, and then, of course, keep practicing, and then you get it. So I say that for fun, I say, well, this world is all about toys. I want more. I want this toy, this car, that car, this paper, this thing. Here, it's all about joy. It's pure, unmitigated, pure bliss and joy. You want that, and they say like one boon of one drop of nectar of bliss. Once you get, everything else feels away. And that sort of has been my experience also progressively. But when I went to Mount Kailash, I came back, I was asking, why am I here? Why am I here? Kind of, everything is there for us. What am I doing? And that's when my little facial hair started growing. And I said, okay, fine. Then I started trimming it. Anyway, so other thing, for this particular talk, I just added another dimension is here it's all about doing, human doings. And here's about human knowing the self, whereas doing in the sort of external world. So that's another way of looking at the absolute. So this is kind of idea of consciousness, and then why you do it is through meditation, but you can have other modalities if you can find, and there are various different kinds of meditation. So I'll just complete this thought about, since I talked of consciousness, I want to talk about how you can implement the V theory to go to that unbounded state of awareness. So I would say that as you age, as you grow older, there are various different drivers of growth. First you look at sensory inputs, round versus square, versus red versus green, etc. And then you grow older, you begin to symbolic processing. This is a glass, this is a cup, this is a utensil, this hot, this cold. Like you begin to see hotness, various degrees of hotness, and then you begin to adults, and which is kind of how we grow up, and we develop language skills, and we and over a period of time, our language becomes more and more sophisticated, right? You first start with 5,000 words and become 10,000, 20,000. Very few people have more than 20,000 word vocabulary. And then if you really want to develop yourself beyond the age, meditation is the only way, which means you don't sort of keep on expanding outside, you begin to know inside. And it's actually a totally different dimension. You can be 10 out of 10 on external intelligence, but 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 on the inner side. So really, it's a very orthogonal dimension. Both should be developed, and that's when you begin to have this sort of cosmic consciousness that you're aware of the outer world and you can act, but you're aware of the fullness of yourself, and you bring the totality of your powers to bear on this. And there are two biggest kind of meditations: the Vipassana, which is a Buddhist meditation, is 2,500-year-old technique, and Trance meditation, which is again a Vedic technique that Maharishi revived in a certain way. They work differently in different frequency, but they same in alpha range and theta range. And Trance meditation works on the 8 to 10 hertz. Vipassana animates the integration and the 6 to 8 and 10 to 12 hertz kind of domain, which is to say, just like all medications are not the same, so all meditations are not the same. Use the right meditation or whatever technique you get. Don't waste your time in sort of doing that. And when you transcend, when you surface box level sort of thinking, and through whatever technique, let's say transcend meditation technique, etc., it increases the brain coherence. The brain begins to work together, and that leads to creativity because you're able to connect a lot more dots. I will kind of, it also reduces anxiety. So, and then what's fascinating, what really animates me, what makes me wake up every morning is this idea of world peace. And I've a whole separate presentation I was given like multiple times, but I'll just give you the final coup de grace on that particular one, which is that this one study was done on, study was actually these years baseline experimental, but then we also looked at post-experimental. So what has happened is there's a number of meditators in our town in Fairfield, Iowa. Earlier, usually we have two big meditation domes. The numbers are sticking around 750 or something, which is a good number, but it's not the number needed to create coherence, collective coherence for the American sort of population. And then there's a formula to get the number. So 1750 was the number, approximately 2,000. So when we got some funding in the 2006 to 7 timeframe, we ramped up the number to reach 1750, and this was the period. It's like 4-year period. We maintained a very high number of meditators, and then funding ran out, so a lot of people had to go elsewhere. Then post-experimental did this. But if you look at just these two, you can look at this. This is the stress index. Is a composite of about 8 measures, fatalities and the drug-induced deaths and infant mortality and the crime and all this stuff. But this is kind of usual for 2% growth baseline during those 2002 to 2007. This is going on. But during the experimental period, it just dropped down by 20.5%, 20%. And now what happened is, so we saved like, I think, 20,000 lives, etc., something like that, because of this crime falling away. This is all of US federal data, FBI data. But as the numbers began to fall, look at this, the crime has come back. It's almost coming back as the line, it's going to reach up this line, as if this dip never happened. As if this dip never happened. So when the meditator groups increase, the thing goes down, but when meditator increases, then the crime goes down. But when it goes down, numbers are not there, then you go back to certain incoherence or stress in society. So that means that we need to meditate and create groups of meditators every day. Now you can't just meditate once, and so you have to create coherence for yourself, coherence for society every day. That's to create world peace. Now the question is, how can, in the era of AI, what we can do? So I'm going to shift gears. We did a 10,000 people group for the whole world's assembly. This was in January of 20 last year. And I was there with some of my friends. And then this is the picture of the 10,000 people gathered for world peace. So this is the kind of groups you want to set up. Lots of groups, when they meditate together, they create the coherence and collective consciousness, which creates world peace. So that is what motivates me. Now, the question becomes, what is the other force going on? Shifting gears completely from consciousness for a moment to just what is AI? AI, and I'll about 5 or 6 charts. I can go faster or slower depending on how the interest is. So just if you know nothing, just see some I've tried to include some pictures just to make it easy. So the idea is AI, artificial intelligence, the human intelligence, biological intelligence, and artificial intelligence. This is a mapping. So if you think of how we learn in a mind, what if the machine learns? So it's called machine learning. So this whole field, this greenish thing on the right is called machine learning. Within there's a method called deep learning. Computer vision, our eyes see, if you automate it for the machine, it's called computer vision. So there's a whole field of computer vision, your face recognition and stuff like that. And then all this, if you think of automating your ears, you have natural language processing. So which is, you talk to computers and they respond back and talking and all this stuff. And then the other smell has not yet been automated. The touch has not yet been automated. The haptic processing is happening, but they are not so developed. But so biggest growth is in the idea of machine learning. We abstracting, trying to understand how mind learns. I mean, vision is of course growing, and you see that in the language understanding. But it's really machine learning which has really created that explosion in artificial intelligence, which is what is creating this buzz. So what is artificial intelligence? A broad term for understanding intelligence and embedding in software or some kind of artificial devices. And today, AI is able to do a lot of routine knowledge work, to answer questions that So it's created, creating something on neural networks that we have neurons, 100 billion neurons in our brain, which are kind of connected. So it's so we see we use as if brain is kind of processing information, control information. Every neuron information receives from one, processes together whatever it gets and pass on to others. It's like in an office, you get information, pass on to the next level. This thing goes a network, and then every node in the network has to decide, oh, is there enough disturbance that I need to pass on or not? Like if your hand is okay warm, you don't tell your hand to move on, right? Only if the thing goes something, you said something, and the motor neurons say, okay, move your hand on here, like that. So there is a certain process, nonlinear process. Now, deep learning system, I told you, these are very highly layered, means thousands of layers. So thing gets passed on thousands of layers. So they're very sophisticated way of nuanced understanding, and they have enormous predictive powers. And this is transformer systems is like a system where you don't do any brute force thing, but as much as sort of you pay attention to certain aspect, and then you are able to do things with much lesser effort. And of course, transformer systems are also being tripped as we speak with newer ways of modeling, where somebody in Singapore has created an AI system with like 1/100th the effort, and then it's as powerful as these things which are costing billions of dollars to create. Anyway, so design principles of AI. And so I just emphasize the whole idea of neuron is key to understanding artificial intelligence. So, as I said, the main idea is that the neuron is the processing element that gathers information, adds it up in some weighted manner, and then passes on and doesn't pass on. Artificial neurons are connected to other neurons. You can call it from an artificial neural network, and it's a multi-layered node of it can have thousands of layers, or more or less, depending on. So this is the essential effort. A neuron receives input, so many neurons assigns different weights for input. So what happens is when we receive information from various people, you don't pay equal credence to everything. We apply weights, right? 0.1 to this, 0.5 to this. Let's from 0 to 1, we create some weights. And then changing the weights is the learning. Who to pay more attention to. As we grow up, we pay more attention to parents, to our teachers, don't pay so much attention to random people. Or if we find that somebody is more expert on something, with that thing, we pay more attention. So this idea is there. So weighted summed output is a transform into binary input, yes or no, and forward. So there's a simplified version, but it's amazing, powerful, in terms of what it is, what it's able to do. Learning in neural networks or AI happens by changing underlying relationship between how the sort of the computation happens, what weight you give to each one. And that, therefore, any particular relationship between two neurons means nothing. That weight is 0.3 and this is 0.2. It doesn't mean anything. It's a collective, just like our brain. Take out one neuron, nothing will happen to us, right? But it's a collective onus of 100 billion neurons that are the collective memory or collective cognitive power to create all the things we are able to do. So architecture, I just want to show you just pictorial. So, let's say there's neuron, like in the first layer, is receiving inputs from wherever, either from the eyes and outside world or from other neurons. And these kind of go on to the next layer of neurons and they're passed on, and then it sort of goes to the next neuron, and then it sort of generates finally an output, right? That's whole idea. And this number of hidden layers can be many, many layers, thousands of layers, as I said. So numerous densely connected processing unit neurons arranged multiple layers which receive input data, process, and generate output. So I've kind of read the same point in 3 slides just to give you a sense that this is what it is. It's about like a brain as a collection of neurons connected in a certain very dense way. But that's biologically, but we are imitating it in the silicon world through computer things. Now, let me give you a little bit story of how the AI can. But the important point is that when we thought that we can tell AI how to work, we failed. When we gave it knowledge, it failed. But we said, here's data, learn from it, it succeeded. Fascinating stuff. It's got things even from the teaching. If you tell kids how to learn something, they fail. If you say, here is the problem, we go solve it, they figure out ways. Anyway, this actually worked in AI. So it was in about 1950, after the World War, the Turing test was set up by Alan Turing, who really cracked the code. And he said, well, let's see. Turing test is if you put a human being in a machine behind curtains and you can't distinguish whether you're talking to a machine or human, that's a Turing test. By the way, they just got passed very unceremoniously just a few weeks ago. They said, nobody even cares about Turing test. That's been passed. Now you're way beyond sort of super intelligence. So again, very quickly, I'll go through in a minute. It started with a conference in Dartmouth where Aparna, you're there, and Balramji's, and it's a knowledge-based. So first we start by saying, okay, let's create a machine. We are the smart people. Let's give all the knowledge to them, right? All the smartest people. I was actually working on this knowledge-based system. It's called expert system that give expertise to them, and they'll become, agent for us to. And it's failed. They were not scalable because you had to give that if this, then do this. There's so many complications in life. So it failed. And then leading 20 years of what is called AI winter. Basically, everybody was like in a distress. This system is not working. Till this gentleman, Jeff Hinton, who just got Nobel Prize last year, he said, no, let's not do that. He said, I don't know, think about this. His degree is not in computer science. I think it's in something else or something affiliated. But he thought a little bit differently. And with some of his doctoral students in Canada, in Toronto, he just invented this idea that let's just create a deep learning network which sort of feeds on itself, and which is an idea that was discarded earlier. But this machine learns by itself. Just give the data. So what happened was one of the biggest projects, there are many, but this kind of ImageNet. Fei Li from now Stanford, she said, I just love, she had just moved from China to Stanford. And then she just wanted to collect these images. And she said, can AI identify images, cats versus dog versus a cycle versus car versus all the stuff. And then that they started in 2010, 11, 12. I thought it'll take a long time for the AI to catch up. By the way, in 4 years, they had to abandon the whole tournament. AI beat humans fair and square. They reached about 95% accuracy in identifying everything. So amazing how fast this ImageNet experiment helped identify. And this in 2017, the transfer model, this is what led to the efficient machine learning, which sort of created ChatGPT and stuff like that. And then the question was not just ChatGPT the intelligence, but Google really was leading, and they created the transfer model there. But then ChatGPT tripped them because they produced a nice chat interface, like you can ask in this, and so it generated 100 million users 1 month. That's amazing. And now it's rapidly generating. So there are so many other products, not this just from the US, but there are many from China and elsewhere. Mistral from France also, and then. So these are so many, and they're sort of generating, growing very rapidly, and 10x better every year. So now I love this V and Vedic theory. So I love this V, and I like to create this kind of chart. So let me give you a V architecture. I showed you the V of consciousness. Let me see V architecture AI systems. My interest is, or my field of expertise is the data side. So it all starts with data, right? Of what's happening out there and how you learn from it. So I would say this is big data: text, videos, your spreadsheets, your documents, everything. Who does what. Then on top of that, let's say somewhere here, we can say that you have this thing you can store and sort of processing power, which you can manipulate this data in. So There are data centers which need to use semiconductors, lots and lots of AI and power. So this is the GPU chips. So they kind of sit next to each other. Well, you can say maybe storage is here, then the processing power, and then on top of that is this thing called algorithms. You hear about algorithms, how you manipulate the data, right? How you interpret the data, how you get the train the neural network and get the weights of a relationship between neurons, and that's what becomes neural networks. And then on top is this idea of the interface. It's getting multimodal, right? The communication, so text, video, music, whatever, video, anything can create. So this is the sort of re-architecture of this thing. So you can operate at different levels. NVIDIA company, if you heard this, operates at this level. OpenAI is probably at this level. Some companies work at this level. So data being processed by things using certain algorithms create the power, which when communicated through various ways creates the AI. So AI, various AI systems, which is, I would say, mostly this thing, but with some interface and data, are becoming 10x more powerful every year. So if you think you don't understand today and I'll take my time to do it, there isn't enough time. Next year it'll be 10x more powerful. Well, the good thing, it'll be easier, but then it'll be 10x more difficult to understand what the heck is going on. So now back to ABCs, and I'm going to just use a little metaphor you see on top right, my little game here, because I don't know what to say about this thing, interplay. So I said, well, let's have a Rishi and a Robo talk, Rishi and Robo. So first is, okay, so I'm going to say, for this, just lay out proposition for your thing. Proposition 1, collective consciousness of human nodes. If each human is a neuron in the 8 billion neuron people, can be as powerful as the collective power of all the compute nodes. Satya, the truth of the humanity versus Maya of the whole world. That's my proposition, that as powerful, probably more powerful. Proposition 2, human consciousness, the biological, is like a lamp at the door, and the concept in the concept of Nyaya, right? Lamp at the door. So AI is on the outside, Chetna is on the inside, and kind of human consciousness begins to sort of mediate this thing. So if you are aware of what's going on the outside and the inside, then we can be effective, sort of the interlocutor at the intersection. So it's good that we learn both these things. Third, I think AI can help measure the development of consciousness. It's a complicated thing. I don't know if it can or not, but I'm just thinking as a proposition, maybe it's wrong, and we'll come to that. So question is, a big question is, can AI penetrate into Brahmi Chetna, which means go into the level of the unity consciousness, can the bottom of the V. Can AI overcome the hard problem consciousness, which is how can an objective thing lead to subjective experience? Can it experience subject qualia? Vedic answer is no. It should be not if. Is no. Like Vedic Chetna would be no. But the jury is out. We'll see what happens. Okay, so now is a little, just 2 slides of Rishi versus Robo. Okay, just see how they talk. Okay, so one is this, the 4-liners. Okay, so Robo says, Rishi, what is it that you don't know? Okay, now, so I've already talked about consciousness, then I talked about, now I'm saying interplay. Okay, so Rishi is representing our Chetna, Vedic Chetna, and the Robo is representing the AI knowledge acting through them. Okay. Rishi, what is it that you don't know? I don't know the knower of the known. Who is it that knows all the known? But if it can be known, then the knower is also known, isn't it? And who then knows that? So who knows the knower of the known? So like you can go endlessly towards knowing of the knower of the knower of the knower of the knower. So that's a recursive thing. And how far can AI go? Second one, is there nothing that Rishi does not know? So I don't know why Brahman plays hide and seek with himself. Why can't it manifest itself? It's got all the power. Robo said, but Brahman is unmanifest reality, right? Why does hide? So that we may laugh when we discover. So it's a game, it's a leela going on. Brahman is just making us have fun. But Brahman has all the powers. It can just reveal to us everything and we can all go home and just be there. Why is created all those limitations with human beings that we are, having pragya, prad, and sort of operating at this level of ignorance? Okay, now let's see what do. What is it what can AI not do? So I said, Rishi, but he asked, okay, first Robo asked, Rishi, what can you not do? I cannot count the grains of sand on the riverbank. But I can. Give me data, give me time. He said, but can you feel the warmth of a single grain in your palm? As you're counting, are you feeling it, feeling the whole thing? Maybe, I don't know. So these are all parables. I'm just giving you. So Robo, what else can you not do? I cannot command a tear to fall at the right time. Oh, but I can simulate crying, water, and sound. Simulation is just a shadow. Only life knows when to be. So this interplay will happen in a very different modality. I think poetry. They say like poetry is what brings life to play, and I think robots are these are playing. So what are the individual implications between of this conversation to play with this? And I'll just say so. We should balance AI tools with Vedic wisdom. We can ask, for example, right? Can AI help us achieve the experience of oneness? Can we become that Rishi level Chetna? Can AI help us achieve a dharma? First, identify a dharma. What is it? Our life's purpose? Can AI help us at the individual level? Can I have a dharma itself? I don't know. At the organization level, AI obviously deliver efficiency. It can help decision making, innovation, depending on like automating or just collaboration or just creating innovation on its own. Well, Vedic Chitta, what does it do? It just brings all of the we talked about it. It's the wholeness, right? The creativity, culture, leadership, ethics. What can the interplay do? Can we create consciousness-based AI augmented organization? Based in consciousness or higher consciousness, but augmented with AI in every role, can we create that organization? Yes, this is happening. The AI augmented organizations are happening. Some consciousness-based organizations there. How can they be together? And can AI deliver triple bottom line? There's a go again. There's those who know sustainability literature. They know that's sort of the people, planet, profit. Right? Not just profit for yourself, but for the community and then for the planet. And then let's say societal implications. Okay, AI is transforming education, health, economy, governance, everything, transportation. And Vedic Chetna is sort of more the inner self, like fostering harmony in the society, wisdom, uh, peace, and resilience. So, what is interplay? Can society utilize AI for human development? Can we tame it? Or is AI too powerful, growing too powerful that we cannot tame it? Can society survive AI? That's the other, what's called the existential threat. AI is becoming so powerful that you cannot really do anything with it. So, this is my closing slide, which is looking forward. This is my wish now. I can't know what will happen. It's all for all of us here and then everywhere in the world to see how we want to use AI. Using guardrails, etc. This conversation was going to take place, interplay between AI and Chetna would take place. I would say, first thing is, let's become ourselves deeply peaceful, ourselves, and then be established in oneness. Try to realize Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa, that we are we are just manifestation of the Satchitanand, and we are Shiva ourselves. So first, let's use AI or whatever way, we know that transcendent meditation helps do that, but whatever techniques helps. So everybody should become that, achieve that awareness. But then, how can education, social organizational waves, and our universities help to create the settings where using Vedic techniques or yogic techniques to create collective consciousness, Samohik Chetna for world peace. That's my wish for the future. And with that, I will stop and I would appreciate your comments and questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anilji. And the presentation is in itself was very unique and different for this Vedic platform. And now I believe people from different fields joining here, because I can see many scholars from different areas are here, and so they can ask questions. And now the session is open for discussion. And one question I can see from in the chat from Mr. Ellen, he's saying, what is the mechanism the group meditation helps reduce crime? Is that reduced crime for the mediators or global? Crime in the USA is currently very low compared to the historic norms. Do you think more meditation is partially responsible? And secondly, he's also saying now that AI can easily pass the Turing test, we don't have any good test to measure consciousness in others. Of course, you and I have consciousness, and we admit all humans, mammals, animals, life has some level of consciousness. So what tests are we? Do we have to evaluate any non-living consciousness? So this is how he has two questions. I read again.
Yeah. The first answer is very clear because our experiments have shown, and we have 55 publications that meditating here creates coherence for the whole country or for the whole world. That's the idea. It's not that we create only for coherence for ourselves. That's meditation. That you can meditate yourself and create peace for yourself, a small group. But the idea when you meditate using this transcendence technique with advanced meditation techniques, you can create coherence for the whole world. And that's the formula. That's what I was showing you. The crime went down all over the country. Second question is about the evaluation. That's kind of it's a crisis right now. How do you evaluate AI solving mathematics Olympiad kind of problems? How do you evaluate its progress? How do you evaluate whether it's uh, uh, help us achieve levels of consciousness? So we have written a paper in 2024, myself and Jerry Bieberman, which I cited a little bit, in which we are saying AI can sort of help for measures of consciousness based on your output, where we just give some sense of where you are. And when we let's say we write up something and we submit it to AI, it can say, okay, this is maybe this levels of consciousness. So it can create 1 to 3 levels of consciousness. In that paper, we say AI can help at 3 levels. First level is it can help us measure consciousness, so it help us become aware of where we are. Second is spots where it can collaborate. It can help the process of being conscious, and then because by nudging us to sort of not get distracted, if it can read our mind and say, oh, you're getting distracted, come back to being yourself. And third is if AI can itself become conscious and begin to act almost autonomously like us. So the measurement issue is obviously a big challenge. Evaluation is a big challenge. And as AI is blowing through all the challenges, as it gets 10x better, it's just blowing through all of those standard thing. And so I don't have the answer, but we can discuss that if you want.
Another question from Mr. Gitain. He said, what is the mechanism linking meditation and world peace? Can AI meditate? From there, can AI participate to world peace by meditating?
Yes. So I'll just jump into, yes, the answer is possibly, because Rajiv Malhotra, he was there, 10, 12 years ago at our campus, and he was presenting. We said, okay, all these yagyas, we need Vedic Pandits to chant. He said, what if we had a robot chanting? Would it have the same effect? And he left us quite stunned, actually. We said yes, but we were not totally sure. Because we have to create this, for Ati Rudravishek, we have to have 11 times 11 times 11, like 31 Pandits chanting, like we do that in the Brahmistara center point of India. And attending that helped me get my own moksha moment, liberation moment. Question is, what if there are 1331 robots doing it, AI doing it? We haven't done it, but that would be a great experiment. Let's do it. Let's do it, because AI is getting so cheap now. Let's do it. It has to be. The thing is that human consciousness is very biological, and I think back to this this question that like non-human consciousness also, right? Alan, you were asking. Yeah, we know that dogs have consciousness, crows have consciousness, their memory, all that stuff. So can they achieve consciousness or help create world peace? I would imagine that it's just that we are first so focused on just having human consciousness centered, but then all this and we're jumping straight to AI, which is abstracted form of human consciousness. But that's very human centric. It should not be human centric. We should the anthropocentric. I think every consciousness, everything has consciousness. They should be able to create peace.
Sure, sir. And now I invite Dr. Kamlesh Kapoor, madam, for her question. Ma'am, can you please unmute yourself?
Please unmute yourself, Kamlesh. Yes.
Okay. My question is very simple, basic. When Shri Ganesh ji was created by Parvati, she created a robot using the other 4 tattvas, right? And she programmed it that I will not let anybody go in. And Shiva said, when he cut the head, and she was crying that the first thing I created and you destroyed, it was my baby. And he said that without consciousness, it's a robot. You see? So isn't it a very good analogy that consciousness, human consciousness or collective consciousness is not sum total of various ways of adding layers and layers of artificial intelligence. Intelligence is buddhi, is that correct? And then there is tattva gyan, discriminatory judgment, a whole lot of folds of consciousness. Ultimately, when you make a wrong decision, and then I say, oh Kamlesh, you stupid. That means somebody is judging my decision making, and that is Chit. Chit is Sakshi.
Yes.
So
And that's
can
the
we
thing.
create Chit?
Yeah, that's no, we are Chit. See, that's the thing. We
We
don't
are
create
Chit,
Chit.
but
Chit
can
creates us. That's what
can
the ABC.
artificial intelligence?
Yeah, that's the question I asked. That's a question I asked. Can it become Chit, or can it at least help us become a higher Chit? Right now, if you just from a human perspective as educators, if can we have our students to have higher Chitta? So that question is, AI can become Chitta itself? Vedic people or our universities people, researchers would say definitely no. Subhash Kagya said there's no way it can reach. Maharishi said that duality cannot enter unity. It can dance around the edges, but cannot. But that's a big philosophical question. We can defer to some other time.
Yeah.
Thank you. But this is a good. I want to appreciate your example on Ganesha's robo instrument. Yeah, we are. I mean, we are all instruments of consciousness. That's that way.
Thank
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Kapoor, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. Lalan Prasad, sir.
Unmute kariye, sir. Please unmute yourself.
Sir, unmute, please. Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's fine.
Okay. Let me first congratulate Professor Anil Maheshwari for the excellent presentation of Mahesh Yogi's philosophy with scientific tools, which includes AI. And AI actually, what you have said rightly, the embedded software knowledge, the knowledge which exists, while Chetna is something which creates knowledge, not only the existing knowledge, but also it is creation of knowledge. And what our rishis and Maharshi used to do by tapasya, they had their own perceptions based upon their own experiences when there were no scientific or technological tools like what we have today and what AI is adding today. And you have also very nicely presented ANN architecture. Sir, I have a question. You have explained about Raman's philosophy and where he said that self has to be dissolved. While Mahesh Yogi's philosophy says higher self. Now, higher self means there is a lower self and there is a higher self also, but it is not dissolving self. So, which is the way through which our Maharshis or yogis have gone through? Was it through dissolving of the self and realizing the whole thing, which they ultimately created in the form of Vedas, Upanishads, and scriptures in the past?
Yes.
It was hard self.
No, your answer is correct. I mean, both Mahर्shis are saying the same thing, which is Mahर्shi saying is that end state, the whole self, Mahर्षि Mahesh Yogi is saying is unbounded, pure joy. And Ramana Mahर्षि is saying is stop the questioning self, dissolve that one, and then you will realize the higher self. So I would say our ancient rishis abstracted themselves through various meditation techniques and whatever techniques they did. They went deep inside and they were able to see the whole cosmos within themselves. That's why they were able to all this Akasha and there's all cosmic stuff because they could see everything. And in fact, there is research here by President Dr. Tony Nader, which says human physiology, structure of it, and the structure of the Vedas is very mapped. He has mapped the whole thing because Vedas are mapped as full understanding of the inside and the whole outside of the universe. Yeah. So the human body is structured. Why there are 4 lobes in the brain and this and that is all structured in various parts of the world. So it's all actually levels of oneness. It's really levels of oneness. It takes a certain amount of openness to possibilities to see that it's all with the same cosmic design. Even our human physiology is really based on your cosmic design, and that's what makes us special. Not just it's not the amount of mass. Elephants have a bigger brain, right, and the bigger body, but it's what makes us very special is the organizing, the structure. So thank you for asking that. I appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you, Professor Lalan Prasadji. Now there is one question from Dr. Vikas Sharma ji. He has mentioned how might Vidya or ignorance and Vidya knowledge in the Vedic sense apply to AI's learning process?
So avidya means, see, when we use vidya and avidya, vidya is knowledge of self, Vedic vidya is that. But I mean, what is the knowledge of the steel? Like the knowledge of how to create this cup of steel. I mean, that's also kind of vidya. So the word vidya has become sort of such variegated to, so I'm not sure how we can answer avidya. To me, avidya means that you don't know yourself in this concept of human self, but there is also material knowledge. So that's where it is. I think Vidya is with the ultimate Paravidya. Remember the Kulgit said Paravidya. We talked about the Paravidya here, but Aparavidya is not a Vidya, I would say. It's more instrumental knowledge. So there are grades of knowledge. There's known, we know, but all that stuff. It's a good question. It's something needs to be delved in different time.
Yes, maybe when we have the concluding remarks, we may not get this answer. Yes, Kaushal sir, we will come to you. We have two more hands before you. We have now I invite Dr. Alok Dwivedi from INATS. Yes. Please, sir.
Go ahead, Alokji, unmute yourself.
Oh, he can't. Others, please, sir.
He can unmute. Okay. So maybe Dr. Reddy can go in the meanwhile to save time.
Yes. Sure. Now I invite Dr. Reddy. I think there is a mute unmute problem by
Dr. Reddy, are you able to unmute yourself or no?
only others can do. Others, please unmute Dr. Reddy ji and Dr.
Yes,
Alok ji.
I
Okay,
can.
yeah.
So we can have.
Okay, go
Yes,
ahead. Go ahead.
first question.
Hi. Hello, sir. Anilji, it was really very educating and enlightening talk. I really enjoyed it. The difference between the AI and CI. In the initial statement, you have told that AI can never become conscious. That is the Vedic teaching also. And in the last slide, we said, could it be possible there will be interaction between the AI and CI? Because, our understanding is in our medical field, as well as in the scientific field, 80% of us don't know the difference between the mind and the consciousness. That is the fact. Because I had a chance to teach some of the medical students here, and when we asked the question, what is that consciousness? What is the mind? So, the difficulty here is that the clear understanding of it, mind is Jada. Chaitanya is the consciousness, which is the self. So with that fact itself, the machine cannot become conscious at any time. Machine is objective, mind is a matter, and mind is Maya, mind is whatever we call it on that.
Right.
I think AI can do the wonders, just like the Maya is doing the wonders, all this. So one of the question I have is, with this AI going so fast, and with this CI untapped one, without the understanding about the mind and the consciousness difference, how we are going to educate the general public about the Atma and Anatma, whether the, permanence and,
Dr.
non-permanent.
Reddy, that is the need of the hour. What you just said, this is my life mission.
Hmm.
Okay. Once you understand who we are peace incarnate, we are Shiva, the game is over. How do we get people to even accept the hypothesis? Please accept the hypothesis, test it out. It doesn't work 3 days later, just abandon it. But at least try it, meditate, see if you begin to feel that peace. So it's for all of us to be messengers of that, message that Vedic Chetna is inherently peace. That's how, Vasudev Kutum comes naturally to people in India. It's just part of the whole thing. That's Sannidha Yoga Vairtyaga. When oneness is established, you are me. Hurting you is hurting me. Why would I hurt you? So the chanchalta kind of, begins to vanish or begins to get controlled for certain action purposes. So that the para and apara is the same thing, which is that man is para, it's because engaged with all the objects, toys, and the para knowledge is that's what V theory is. That's what we have to really begin to have people sort of engage in transcending. Whatever be the technique, that's why I'm being agnostic here. Whatever technique gets you there, just you have to let go of whatever sort of a fixing or the fixation it is on certain, my haves, I am this. As I said, you're right if you think I'm the bulb who's lighting up the world. No, but you are the totality of the all laws of nature also. So that if we can silently just listen to everything they say and say, okay, but you're more than that. Okay. That's all. Because people can talk about what they see. I heard something very beautiful and I can share that with the community. Is it to do the impossible, you have to see the invisible.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's it.
Thank
Okay,
you.
next.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy ji. We have one question from Alok in the chat. He said, I'm impressed these kind of discussion is the need of the hour. Today, when we are talking about AI, the question is arising that is the AI is dangerous for humanity in terms of job, emotion, and values, etc. But when we talk about Vedic wisdom, we find this course of global welfare, as you rightly mentioned, the Shanti mantra. How can we see the intentional similarities in wisdom between AI and Vedic wisdom?
How can we see, again, just the answer there. With this conversation we just had with Dr. Reddy, which is that to see what AI can do for us or what it should do for us, we have to be at para level. Otherwise, then we are just a data point. At some level, we are as a generator of data for AI. But another level, we are the totality of the universe and we can tame AI and ask AI. So are we a part of the how of the AI or are we the what or controlling of what the AI should do? But to be able to control a monster, you need to have powers bigger than the monster. And monster in a good way, not like it. It's a tool, but it can also eat you up. So if AI gets too much, anyway, we can go on. Okay.
Sure, sir. And we have two more questions from Professor Singh has time, so I can invite Professor Kaushal, sir. He was willing to ask earlier. Professor Kaushal, sir. Please unmute.
Yeah.
Namaskar.
Maheshwari, my congratulations for your wonderful exposition of such a deep subject. And when you say Chetna, is it a pure consciousness or polluted consciousness?
Pure. Brahmi Chetna, Vedic
I'm
Chetna.
asking this, Vedic seers also postulated along with the pure consciousness, Chetna, and between Jad and Chetan, in between Jiva. Jiva is the polluted version of Chetna. It is also having a major component of Jad. Now it is a matter of meditation, how deep you can go in the meditation. And I have also categorized the stages of meditation. To talk the relative meditation. So meditation can start directly from body objects, sense objects, mind objects, intellect objects, and ego ultimately. And a component of ego belongs to the pure consciousness. It becomes a part embedded in. So when you talk of this, I think if you bring in the role of Jiva, many things will be clarified of this
Yeah.
kind of dilemma
Thank you.
existing between AI
Thank you.
and CI.
Thank you. That's what the
But
A. That's
I
the
have
B.
one more question, please.
Wait a
Please
minute. Let's
allow.
go to, in the interest of time, we'll go to another one, Kaushal Saab. But B, that's the B. A, B, C. Remember, the way you said the
Yeah.
polluted consciousness is the B. The goal is for B to go to reach the C and help
No,
the A
I'm
to
sorry.
help become B and C.
B is not polluted. See, if you take out the natural consciousness existing, because of which we are speaking, we are active. As dead body doesn't have B. If you are implying that, so there is a difference. Okay, let me put second question before you. See, there is a normal belief that consciousness is generated out of the computational process of the neural network. I have read it somewhere.
Yes.
At least that consciousness is the same as the natural consciousness supplied by the Supreme in the individual. Of course, it is not. It is a kind of induced consciousness. Then question comes, this AI can have random access, possibility of random access expansion or not. This cannot. It can be only that much which you supply to the machine. On the other hand, natural consciousness, because of that is working through us, that is expandable to infinite degree. You can come to the TM, you can start with the bottom level or body level. So it is attention dominated meditation, consciousness that works the meditation process. And there are 1 dozen of varieties of consciousness I have classified. In my book, you can have a look at it, please.
Yeah, thank you. I think you answered your own
Your
question.
comments?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think. Thank you. Let's have Dr. Balram Singh ji, if he's still around. If he wants to answer.
Yes, we have Professor Balram Singh sir here, and I like to invite him for his question. Yes, sir. Please.
Unmute करिए sir. Please unmute yourself, Balram ji.
Yes, now it's fine.
मैं नहीं वहाँ दादा कोई बैठे हुए हैं अनम्यूट करने वाले हम नहीं कर सकते so Anil ji, that was very useful seminar. I'm so glad that you brought it down AI to the level where people can feel. मेरा एक ऑब्जर्वेशन है, एक सवाल है. ऑब्जर्वेशन ये है कि मैंने AI को बहुत यूज करके मैं अपने बारे में पूछता हूँ, क्योंकि अपने बारे में मैं जानता हूँ. मैं AI से मैं सारी चीजें पूछता हूँ, वो हमको बता नहीं पाता कि मैं कौन हूँ. इसलिए दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि हमको ये हरदम सोचना चाहिए कि हम स्वयं को, जो आप कह रहे हैं ना रियलाइजेशन वाली बात है, वो हमको खुद ही करनी पड़ेगी. दैट इज माय आंसर एट दिस पॉइंट. जो आप सोच रहे हैं ना कि हम लोग कभी AI हम ब्रह्म बन सकता है क्या? अपना ब्रह्म बन सकता है, लेकिन हमारा वाला नहीं. लेकिन मेरा क्वेश्चन जो है वो मे बी you can, because you are giving some examples कि किस तरह से दूसरे लोग कैसे करते हैं, वो हमारे ऊपर कर लेगा कि नहीं. मुझे लगता है कि जो AI का है वो एक ऋषि आई आपने बोला, और एक राक्षस आई नहीं बोला आपने. उसका एग्जाम्पल लिया, जैसे आपने गणेश जी का उदाहरण दिया, कमलेश जी ने दिया. और उसी तरह से जब रावण जो था, जब राक्षस लोग उस समय माली सोमाली वगैरह जो लोग हुआ करते थे, वो ऋषियों से कभी जीत नहीं पाते थे. तो उन्होंने कहा कि हमको ऋषियों की भाषा समझनी है, उनके हमको मंत्र समझ लेने, उनके जो गुण हैं समझ लेने. तो उन्होंने अपनी बेटी को भेजा वहाँ पे, जो विश्वश्रवा मुनि थे, उनके पास कैकसी उनकी बेटी थी, और वो भी तामझाम किया उसने, जो भी आर्टिफिशियल सब दिखाया अपना. और अल्टीमेटली वो उनको रावण मिल गया. तो रावण को क्या करते थे वो लोग, रावण ऋषि अपने बाप से सीखता था सारी चीजें, और उसके बाद समर में ले जाते थे उसको, फिर वो पूरा प्रोग्रामिंग करते थे, एल्गोरिदम बनाते थे उसका. और उसके बाद लेकिन आखिरी में, मतलब आई थिंक एवरीबडी नोज द स्टोरी अबाउट दैट. तो आखिरी में लेकिन वो राक्षसी आई जो है.
Can you shift the summary to English so that because we have some people who don't understand Hindi yet.
Oh yeah. So yeah, in the end, what happened is Ram and Ravan, they had this fight, and he was doing all the thing Rakshasi type thing. He used every artificial intelligence you can imagine. Not even we cannot imagine even today whatever he was able to do. But when the Rishi I always wins, because when it gets into the self, it not only is the self is that self that you just said para or brahm bhav, whenever that comes, whenever you have the ego, you cannot get there. So you have to dissolve your ego to get there, and when you get there, you only do good things. You do not do the bad things. So Rishi I is a good alternative of Rakshasi I.
Very good. Thank you. So, that's a good analogy. Okay, thank you. In the interest of time, let's go to Kiranji.
So now I'd like to invite Kiran Kumar ji.
Yeah. Namaste, Anil ji. We have been interacting on SCS mail. I hope you recognize that.
I recognize that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So congratulations. I enjoyed the conversation between the Rishi and the robot and the implications of that. So going back to one of the comments made earlier, I mean, the absence of the distinction between Chit and Manas in the Western tradition. So all the discussions that is happening about consciousness in the Western tradition and many things that we come across in the group mail and the researchers, supposing we accept the Chit, the fundamental reality, then are we all not artificial intelligences given by the Chit to all of us? So somebody has given me 1,000 rupees and I am just giving 100 rupees to somebody else or something else and empowering it.
Yeah. So at some level, yeah, CI is the ultimate, which is unitary, and it's all the quantum wave function for the whole universe. And from that, the certain I think of like every coagulation of certain energy in a low energy form in the human body. So we have BI, and then but all the BIs together, you and me and all the thousands, millions of researchers and our data comes together to create AI, which can also be very unitary and begins to reach as if try to go to CI power. But we are kind of instruments in the creation of this. So we are nimitta matra. We are just instruments of intelligence. If we realize that, then it's more easy to sort of let go of the ego. But if you think I am this because I did this, and then become instead of human being, we become human doings. Anyway, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now I think we have done with the questions from the audience. I have one very basic question because I'm a student of Vedas only. So when we read Vedic scriptures, we always found that we got connected to the Prakriti, to the nature itself. But when on listening to your AI presentation, which is a new thing for me, definitely. And I feel that is it possible that we transform those emotions through AI as we connect while reading Vedic readings? And in the case of AI, can we transform emotions into reality like that?
Yes, I think that's what the idea is. We are the what, AI should be the how. Our emotions is what creates a richness that even Kiranji was just talking about. We are more multi-layered and more sort of analog, and AI is sort of discrete, although high level of discretion. So yes, our emotions alone say that the whole thought has come to you to create this as an emotion out of hearing all that stuff, right? And you say, can AI create for me something like that? So answer is yes. AI is like the genie. I won't call it Rakshas. I'll call it genie, that you just say sim kulja and it's create for me this. That is my wish, that AI should help each one of us to get to the para prakriti in whatever way. Some wants nudging. Hey, you're getting too much into music, but watching too much of this or that. Okay, get back to this, or help nudge, or find the right meditation for the right person. Whatever way they help, that's what I was saying. Yeah. So you know what, whatever your dharma is for life, can AI help you recognize that? And can it help you achieve that? That will be my wish for everybody. As a master, an instrument of a enormous capability and power. Yes, Balwanji, AI will give us summary of the stock. Don't worry about it. Summary is easy. Okay,
So
let's
this
hear
is
from
like
Shashi if she's gonna.
interactive. This was an interactive discussion after the talks. Now, for the concluding remark, I invite President Waves India, Dr. Shashi Tiwari ma'am, for her comments on the regarding the talk or her viewpoint from the Vedas. Ma'am,
अनम्यूट कर लीजिए शशि जी, अगर वीडियो नहीं भी आ रहा तो. Adarsh, maybe you can unmute her. No, she's on the phone, I think.
No, she can only unmute herself.
we were able to see ma'am.
Unmute कर लीजिए शशि जी. Yes.
So my namaskar to distinguished speaker and learned audience. Firstly, I will inform you, and I think you already know, that I am a student of Sanskrit and Ved, and I have nothing to do with AI. So I am not a right person to comment on this type of very learned, very authentic, very informative, and very interesting talk on that talk. But I think it is my good luck that I am invited to say a few words on this topic and about the presentation, Dr. Anil Maheshwari as well. Anil Maheshwari is not unknown for Waves. I think from the last 10 years, he is speaking in Waves India and also in Waves International. So this time his book was to be released, and that is why I invited him for this lecture on the same topic. But it is very surprising that when his lecture was decided, I got an invitation from an institute for the invitation for the presentation of a paper, and that was a special paper, and it was on AI and its Vedic reflections. So what happened? I was when meeting was going on, I said, "Oh, I will find out. I will try to find out Vedic concept in AI." Then people started saying something else. And one person said that, "Oh, let me see what machines are there in the Vedas and how they were functional and how they used to do all these things." So I got this type of challenge. And you will not believe, from the last 1 month and a half month, I am all the time I am reading AI, and now I know quite a little about AI. And my paper is also complete. And the subject of the paper is Minds, Machines, and Consciousness, Vedic Reflections on Spiritual Ethics. Yet, this is the topic. So I found that, as here some scholars have already informed, and they have narrated that in Vedas, in our Vedic literature, there is a lot of information regarding mind, chitta, chetna, atma, antahkaran, And in the Upanishads, and especially in the later Aranyakas, all these matters are a lot there. So when I collected all these matters, I found some interesting points also. And I was very happy that as Dr. Anil Maheshwari was saying that Vedic Chetna is connected from Vedic Rishi. So similarly, I was thinking that Vedic people were very very much knowledgeable, and now knowledge is nowhere. Only information is there. As is, I find that. There are many questions about all these subjects and not the information. And information is in our text. As Chaitanya Mahatma, there is a sutra in Shiv Sutram, Chaitanya Mahatma, the consciousness is the Atman. Then Chitta Mahatma, the person who is not exactly know, they say mind is a chit, as some profs was saying here. So mind is not clear, chit is not clear. There are two, three, four, at least four words are there. Antakaran Chatushtayam. And ahankar is also counted in the mind. So all this is then question arise: is AI has a mind? So I said in everywhere they are asking a question. Then again, about intelligence, as we all already know, that data were input, and on the basis of that, AI machine used to discriminate or advise or argument or anything. It can, whatever is asked, it can tell, but on up to the limit, not more than that limit. What is input, not more than that input. So now they are claiming that no, machine can also imagine and like that. So there is a question again: is machine intelligent? Then I heard there another place it was written that machine is not intelligent. It's proposed, it shows, it assumes as if it is intelligent. Next, consciousness, which we were talking about. So I simply want to say that consciousness is a more important subject, but in our philosophy, what is consciousness? In AI, that consciousness is not found. That is quite different. As mind is quite different, similarly, consciousness is not the same. And it is also there that conscious will be intelligent, it is not necessary, and intelligent will be conscious, it is not necessary. But the knower, it will be knower. So there again question is there, मशीन कब कॉन्शियस होगी, मशीन कॉन्शियस होगी कि नहीं होगी, कैसे होगी मशीन कॉन्शियस? जब कॉन्शियसनेस पर so much study has been done by our rishis, and they say that consciousness is the Atma. So Atma, everyone know about Atma. So when Atma is separate from body, it is not in the body. So how it can be affected from the reflections of a machine? Then again, one more I will like to say, and that is about knowledge. I was very happy. I said, oh, all knowledge should be given to machines, and then they will be most knowledgeable. And वेद के ज्ञाता हो जाएंगे, सारे वेद उनको दे दिया जाए. पहले तो डिजिटलाइज नहीं हुआ है शायद सारा, अगर हो भी जाएगा तब भी वो याद कर पाएगा, और याद कर लेगा तब भी वो उसका इनर मीनिंग, इनर अर्थ उसका बता पाएगा या नहीं, मीनिंग बता पाएगा या नहीं. Especially the spiritual part will be filled with the AI machine. Emotions, as people were talking, emotions, sentiment, experiences, all these things are not related to its, their answers will not correct. So like that, I am studying and I am excited about that. I will discuss with you, and with these words, I will try to say namaskar and bye bye.
Can I just add a commentary to that? Since, see, Shachiji, you are known for Vedas. Somebody still invited you for a topic on AI, right? Because it's unavoidable. And 2 years ago, when I did this whole symposium on consciousness and AI, they said, no, 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 our division people, members will not understand AI. Only a few members said, okay, it's an interesting thing because my students are asking about AI, so maybe I'll do that. And then it became such a hit. They thought we will not be able to pull off. Did a phenomenal job, and some of the papers are in the book. So it's changing so fast, you cannot ignore it. And that's why I think you got invited, and you give such a beautiful perspective on it. And that is true that this whole the Indian or sort of Vedic understanding of the inner self is very, very deep. Many times of memory, many times of antakaran, many kind of koshas, whereas the binary distinctions we see in the AI world or sort of the management world or the Western.
Meditation, concentration.
Yeah. That's why I think as Western systems reach some level of success or an integration of all the knowledge, they're wondering, what's in it for me? Why is it not giving me fulfillment? Right? You can create everything out there, but what about my life? Who am I? Why? So that is where I think the Vedic knowledge, I feel Vedic knowledge is very relevant moving forward. The unbounded notion of consciousness is very important. And you can add more and more, but you can always say I can have more. So you're not infinite, right? You start with unbounded and you sort of start with something. That's the Vedic Chetna. So this
Dr. Anil Maheshwari, in somewhere it is written in our text that consciousness will be creative. Brahma will be called Brahma only because he can manifest. Ekvam Bahusyam. So Prakriti is Jad, Purush is. I am very proud of our knowledge, ancient knowledge, and I am भयभीत हूँ, मैं थोड़ी भयभीत हूँ कि हमारे ज्ञान को थोड़ा बहुत नकल कर लेंगे. अब जैसे मैंने अभी जो पॉइंट बताया वो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है कि वो कहते हैं कि अगर कॉन्शियस होगा तभी मैनिफेस्ट कर पाएगा, तभी उसमें क्रिएटिविटी होगी, नहीं तो नहीं होगी. ये और वो तो अलग से कह ही रहे हैं, एआई वाले तो अलग से ये कह ही रहे हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पर तो बहुत सालों युगों पहले लिखा हुआ है.
Thank you. That's our time. This is an infinite topic. Infinite Maya was infinite Veda. This conversation go on for infinite time.
संवाद पर संवाद करना चाहिए.
संवाद पर संवाद. I'm glad you started the whole series. You said this is the first one and a few more to come, right? Thank you. Okay, Aparna ji, go ahead.
Yes, exactly. This session was again a very interactive session, as we always have in Waves webinar. I have seen, and this was the talk number 20, and we have started this initiative in the year 2024. And always, when we have the discussion after the talk and the concluding remarks, add more information to the wisdom the speaker shared in his talk. So I'm very thankful to Anil Maheshwari ji for this brilliant talk and for sharing so much knowledge with us that we have to get back to our computers to find out what is AI actually and how we can work on it. So thank you. And before we sign off from today, I like to showcase the announcements of both Waves. We are having our ongoing upcoming conferences. This is Waves 2025 from Wider Association for Vedic Studies. You can this you can find out on our websites, and also we have circulated it very well on our social platforms, and you can apply in that. And the deadlines are there. And another one is the big one from the Waves International and Waves India joint effort that is going to held in the Waves 2026 Waves 2026 that is going to held in the year 2026. Almost a year left now, so you can apply into that also. And this is going to be in collaboration with Maharishi International University. So we are going to meet Dr. Anil Maheshwari ji there. So, and we can have more discussions on this great topic, which we learned today.
Can I add a plug here? Please, everybody submit
Yes.
paper. Everybody who's here must submit a paper. I'll try to make sure every paper is accepted, as many as possible. We're going to try and get 100 paper submissions from MIU. I'm taking on myself. We'll be the hosts here. So first of all, we'll welcome you here. But I'm working with everybody, those who I know. But like everybody, please try to submit something consciousness-based, whatever you like. Ayurveda, the Vedic science. So please do submit. The details are there in the second page of the submission that Aparna showed. And I think you can post it again today also, right? Since you mentioned it.
Yes, sure, sir, after this meeting. And definitely, and we are happy, we are glad that today all the Waves board members and the members from MIU and others, scholars from around the globe, who are new to us, but they have introduced to us through this Waves webinar, and also members from Waves India GC members are there, and also some participants from the Waves Life membership, Life members are also there. And also, I'm glad that my Institute of Advanced Sciences, two faculty members were also there. They were philosophy people, and they have joined, and they have even have participated in the interactions. So we are thankful to each and everyone whosoever was there in the program, and also all the viewers who have joined us on the YouTube, because this talk was live continuously on the YouTube, and you can have a look of it again and again through our Waves YouTube platform. So thank you very much. With this note, I will say a Shanti mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashchit Tuppak Bhave. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everyone, and namaste, and see you in next month, talk number 21.